huh?
Oh,
I just needed to sit somewhere. I want to see.
I want to see my dad. Then how old is he?
He's 3.
He's 3.
Yeah, 3. And this last September he turned 3. So
Still young buck.
I thought he was a pup, but he act like a pup. He ain't a pup. He's just taking advantage of it now.
That's funny.
He's like, I'm still little, you know.
Hey, I'm still here.
Be nice to me, like, bro, you know.
All right, welcome to the Garage Session Podcast. New Monday, new guest, new episode. I'm your host, Dylan. Oh, I was gonna say Mo. I'm
Dylan.
I'm Mo, and welcome. But past couple episodes have been amazing. I already know we're gonna get a little personal. This is a little emotional off the bat, but this one is I already know this one's gonna be very special to me. Reason being, we have a very special, important person in the building that changed my life forever in the dance world. If it wasn't for this man, I would not be standing here today in my dance career. So we have Mr. Ricky Cole in the building. Yo.
You trying to make me cry off top, bro.
We started off like,
we going there.
We going there already.
Yeah.
But we have Ricky Cole, man. Yeah, this guy changed my life. I've known you over 10 years, I think.
Definitely over 10 years. I was like, dang.
That's crazy. It started off Mighty Shock LA.
Yup. He was a mighty, bro.
Yeah, 2010. And then you recruited me for Soul Fresh in 2012, I think.
Yeah.
And then from there, I've been with Soul Fresh for 10 years, and then
Let's talk about Soul Fresh for a little bit. Tell us about Soul Fresh.
yeah, what?
Oh, wow.
Like, how did that come? Like, I mean, I've been there since almost the beginning.
Yeah,
really.
pretty much. You were a part of the reason it started. So basically, I was teaching a lot of different like youth teams at the time. I was coaching for Valencia High School.
Yeah.
I just left Channel Islands not too long ago before that, and then I had been working with Offspring, with Boogie Zone. And then in that whole process, I was thinking of like starting and kicking off my whole like
Brand.
I was like, should I start branding something now? And it became something where I did a carnival at one point where I was like, okay. And then people were like, yo, the clothing, it started to sort of come together in that sense. But I just made clothing for the performance.
Yeah, I was going to say, it started off as a clothing brand first.
Yeah, but initially the clothing, it all sort of went hand in hand weirdly. The weird situation with the clothing was like, or just to finish that off, was for Soul Fresh, it ended up being a lot of the kids that I was working with. Some of them were just elite where they were, but they were reaching a cap for some reason. And then it's like, I was talking to this with my girl. We were just saying how like sometimes when you're young at a certain age, people like kids can be cruel. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like you're young, you don't understand how to deal with emotion and like what you're feeling. And if like someone's getting praised, you're not getting praised. Sometimes that threw people off. And I remember like a lot of you guys were the kids who were like really good, but you were in an awkward space because some people didn't really like praise you for it at your age. They were sort of, I don't know what the right word would be, but it was sort of a competitive thing and it wasn't sort of healthy in my eyes.
Yeah.
So I picked and pulled people and I was like, it could help if we put all these dope people who are from different places and we put them in the same room and have them just support and push each other.
Yeah.
And then they go back to their respective teams and they have something to give versus feeling like they have to like, they're looking for something to get from their teams where it's like, maybe I need to go get a little vibe up and then come back and have more to bring. So I was like, let's kick it off.
That's fire.
Yeah. And then the clothing situation started because for Valencia, I did like one of their just team shirts, like a little hip hop team shirt that everyone could wear. And then I traveled with Six Step at the time. And I did my first job in Ireland. And then I remember I got there and I was wearing their team shirt and someone was like, where'd you get that, bro? I was like, oh, I made this for a crew. And they were like, you should bring that next time. Like bring a whole luggage full. We would buy all of it. And I was like, wow. I was like, word? And they were like, I swear to you, bro, everyone brings stuff. This is my first time traveling and teaching. So
you had nothing.
I had no idea how that works. So I was just like, word? Okay. All right, bet. So the next time I just literally put $400 into making like a load of shirts. Yeah. I got whatever I could with that amount of money. Went over there, sold it like in the first workshop. And I was like, yo, they wasn't lying, yo.
They really out here.
They put me on the hustle. They were like, yo, bro, like you could be making so much extra money. Plus, like we don't get this gear. Like we have to travel to America to come see you if that's all where you're selling it. Like you don't have it online right now. So I was like, that's true. So that ended up being the thing. So every time we performed, I tried to create something different. So I was we have a carnival performance. Let me just create something different for this show. Oh, we got another show coming up. I don't want it to be identical in the video that we're wearing the same stuff. So I was like, let me make a different colorway, or like
it's like a different drop. Like how like clothing companies had, like every time we had a different performance, there was like a different drop for the clothing, which was, I think that was so, like that's that soul fresh.
Yeah, and that was the purpose. The purpose was we were doing whatever. You're doing whatever it is that you love that keeps your soul fresh and like inspired and new. So for us, a lot of us, it was dance. And it was like everyone sort of had different, like, even if you knew that you were like, I'm really into basketball or I'm into film, like some of us were like, we had other majors, but like we all commonly had dance as a passion. So it was like, and then on top of that, it got crazy where it was like in the house of all the people we had, everyone had different talents where it was like, oh, yo, bro, I filmed. It was like, oh, that could help us with videos. So then everyone's talent started like.
Shout out Luciano,
Shout out to the homies.
Luciano, you already know.
Yeah. He was there from day one also. And it's weird because it's like, as close as you guys are now, it's like I met you guys separately. But the same, around the same time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's crazy. Like, if it wasn't for you, like, I wouldn't be in the position I am with Luciano, with, like, what we're doing now. Like, it's crazy. Like, you were literally the glue in, like, our lives, which is nuts.
That's crazy.
That's dope. So Soul Fresh, you'd say, is more like a collective of artists.
Yeah.
More than like,
a crew.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a crew, but it is like more like a collective.
It's not dance specific.
No, not.
It started initially with dance, I guess, but then it spawned into being just whatever it was that like kept you fresh. Like some people were MCs, like everyone did something sort of different. Like we had. Like, even from, like, your major style, some people came and joined the company and, like, they were really good in technical dancing or just, like, something like we said, like, some people were, like, and that was another thing. Like, we didn't take everyone on the company. It was invite only for the first chunk of time. We protected the energy of, like, the people in the room needed to be supportive. Like, you needed to be some type of contributing to that. Like, you know what I mean? Or you just had a spark about you that other people would vibe off of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then once we finally did start auditioning, it was like, you don't need to be the best dancer. You just need to have that
vibe, that energy, the potential, really.
Yeah.
But, like, going back to this, like, the story of, like, even how he recruited me, like, in the beginning, like, I would say the first 5 years was invite only.
Yeah.
So I was on another team called my first dance team called Mighty Shock, LA. And he was like a guest choreographer. All like did one piece for us, and he always taught. It was either a crumping or a b-boying.
Yep.
And then I just fell in love with it, and then I mean, I guess he saw the potential in me, and then he was like, "Yo, come through Soul. I have this crew," and I was the youngest one. That's when I became like the youngest one.
Yeah, bro. It is crazy. Like, shout out to Culture Shock, the whole Culture Shock fam.
Culture Shock.
They've done so. It's like it's a nonprofit organization that has all levels of the company. Yeah. So, but just with them, like them giving back and stuff, I joined Culture Shock at a certain point, Culture Shock LA, and then that's when I sort of got closer to a lot of the younger teams in the company. Yeah. But fortunately, he was there at that time, and then he was one of the kids who just had like he was hungry. It wasn't like he wasn't there for any like there was no other motive that he was there for aside from the fact that like he was enjoying himself. Like he was around cool people, he was around friends, he was like, and because he was so in such a good space, he was just like hungry. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like I'm forcing you to try this or I'm trying to convince you to dance. It was like, nah, bro, like you're making me hype because you want to learn more. So I was like, oh heck yeah, like these are the people we need to vibe with. You feel me? And I'm like in my head too, it's like, dang, if you were in the room with this person that I was teaching, like it would be crazy because you guys are both dope. Like Luciano at the time, like was like 11 when I met him.
For real.
But same thing, you were 10. It was like, dang, if you guys were in the same piece, that would be wild. Like
it was wild.
You guys in your both separate studios, but we're on a different level. So I was like, dang.
Yeah, and then and then when I came on, I didn't know anyone on the team.
Wow. Now that I'm thinking about perspective, so you came in completely like fresh to
because I think you had Soul Fresh going on while I was still on Mighty Shock. Like. When did you start Soul Fresh as a crew? Was it 2010?
2010.
Yeah.
2008 is when the clothing sort of kicked off, and I was just doing projects, but it wasn't a crew. It was just like one-offs, like not even the same crew each time. And then 2010 was like, we're a squad. Like,
and then I think, and then I came on in 2012. So there's majority of the people knew each other, and then I came on.
Yeah.
And then that's when I met Lucy, Nyan.
Dang, OGs. Shout out to all the OG Soul Fresh fam. Like,
for real.
It's it goes both ways. Like I was talking to someone else that was on the squad not too long ago, and it goes both ways. There's so many things that I feel like I picked up and I learned through you guys.
Yeah.
And just as much like you guys were pressing and inspiring me to even just give more opportunities, open more opportunities, even just like push to even open more doors for like,
100%.
and at the time, like my goal was like, at the time I had a goal where I was like, I want to travel with my friends and my company versus like, I was working places where I was traveling, but I wasn't with like my squad. You know what I mean? I wasn't with like the fam. Which isn't bad or nothing, but it was just like it's a different experience.
It's a different energy when you go like with people like you fuck with.
Bro. So then when some of these doors started opening and we started traveling, doing just random shows and stuff like that, like that was even opening my mind to being like, dang, like this can go.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
For real.
And then even on top of that, seeing you guys accomplish things, like just different things, like from this like podcast to like just like jobs you guys have booked, things you guys have individually overcome. I'm like, bro, like we've been through a lot.
No,
like,
100%.
You feel me? But like,
100%. That's why I always have you in my like day one, bro. Like always had my back, like always pushing, like number one mentor right here, bro. Like such a good guy.
I was gonna say, so Dylan's told me that like you were like a pretty significant mentor figure in his life and to other people that he's told me.
Yeah.
Where along the line do you think you thought like I want to be there for these kids, like I want to help these kids grow?
I think it was off rip. Like as soon as I started the company, that's what like that was the purpose for me. I was like, I'm watching a lot of kids who are going through stuff that I went through, and I wish someone could have just been like, bro, go that way. Like you know what I mean? But it was like sometimes you got to go through it, get beat up for it, and it's like I get it. Sometimes you got to go through it to get to it in general, but some people are willing to work, but they just don't know where. And then sometimes people around you are sort of clouding the judgment or even direction because they're threatened. You know what I mean? And in my eyes, I was like, dang, that sucked. I wish I could have like, someone could have just even given me some more direction in certain situations. And I was like, if I can contribute anything, I want to be that to someone else. You know what I mean?
100%.
So that was where situations would arise where it's like, as simple as like booking a job or you feeling like you're getting taken advantage of in certain situations. That was stuff that like, after it happened to me, I was like, yeah, you ain't doing that to my homies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nah, like,
nah, it ain't like
I
that.
went through that, like, nah, we're not having everybody go through that in that kind of sense. And it's like, that's sad. Like, it's how I felt. But it motivated me even more. And then as I saw it actually sort of paying off for certain people, it sort of felt so much more worth it in that moment because it was like, wow, like people are benefiting from this. You know you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think with that mentality, like that's crazy you bring that, because I was with Luciano last night, and I think with that being said, the mentality that you had, I think a lot of the times you see from the OGs that we take that mentality with us. Yeah. Like with me and Lucy, like how we work, that's the same shit. Like Lucy doesn't want who we work for, like he doesn't want them to fuck over everyone. Like it's like a whole squad. Like it's crazy like how the way he taught, like we take that with us. And like I don't see that a lot nowadays, you know? It's crazy.
It's weird. It feels, I guess, in my eyes now. I was always, as weird as it sounds too, is this, I guess it relates more, is like when I was coming up and even just getting into dancing and stuff, I low-key was the younger guy of my crews. So I felt like you guys in a sense. Like you guys were normally the younger guys of the squad. Yeah. And like you're the little homies, but you guys were impactful. Like, you know what I mean? Like you held it down. And there was even times where I'm like that was something with Soul Fresh. That was another thing that we like really tried to make it be like, my whole goal was to change. Like that was another huge goal that I had in mind. A huge goal that I'm like, was like the biggest goal. I'm like, okay, let me get some small goals that I'm going to accomplish here and there. Yeah. And then one that I'm going to be working towards, like that's my master, which was like, I want to change the industry and the way the industry was ran. And not because it was just like, I get it now and I understand a lot more of the business side, but like there's a portion of it where I'm like, there should be some type of sense of like, off of your talent and off of like your work versus off of
the
something that could have been view related, typecasted, or you know what I mean? Which is all good for like at different moments and stuff, but there should still be an open lane where people are comfortable to be like, I can just go put in good work and earn a great opportunity or build myself. You know what I mean?
Just from the talent itself.
Bro. Yeah. And so like, that's where I'm like, especially for people who deserve that in my eyes, I'm like, nah, I feel like you guys, like, you know what I mean? Everybody should have that opportunity, especially if you're working hard and like putting your all in, you're being good to people. It's like, you should be able to receive that fold or have that support around you.
Yeah. I think that's what, like, it's a good point too, to bring back with the podcast. That's like our mission with the podcast is like, we don't really care about like the resume, the followers. Like, we just want to give out flowers that people deserve it, that we know we're going to have a good conversation and, like, just a good vibe all around. I think, and that's what I'm saying, that mentality, like, stuck with me for, like, forever.
Bro, it's
like,
crazy.
It's crazy how it just, like,
I love that.
just sticks, you know? It's crazy. But he was the first one, too, going back with Soul Fresh, that let me travel with dance. Hawaii, World of Dance Hawaii.
Snap. Yeah,
2013 or 14, that Soul Fresh, because he hosts World of Dance.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. I hosted probably since the second World of Dance. I have judged the first one and hosted everyone.
Yeah, so World of Dance has always been good about bringing Soul Fresh on, and they wanted Soul Fresh to come out to Hawaii. It was, I think, was it Soul Fresh's first, like, traveling thing?
That was one of our first, a traveling gigs like that. It was our first traveling WOD for sure. I don't think we had gone anywhere aside from local. Yeah. The furthest we had gone was the Bay.
Oh, we did do the Bay.
But the Bay wasn't like we had to get on, well, we could have got on a flight, but this one was like, no, we're on flight.
We're on
everyone,
flight, yeah. It was dope.
You can't just drive, cuz.
But that was one moment I won't forget, too. That was, like, another moment where I was, like, with dance, was like, damn, I can make this happen, like, travel. Yeah. Because I always wanted to travel, too, and, like, choreograph and teach and all that. So that was like a big moment for me. I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, that's a big stepping stone for real.
And I feel like for a lot of you guys, and that was like kicking back into that, like allowing people to earn it. Yeah. We did so many things where it was like, it was unbiased. It was like, I don't care what your age is. If you submit something and it's of quality and we all feel like this is our best option, like, we're running with it, whether you're 14 or whether you're 22. Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? So there was times where, like, you're one of the younger guys in the room and he was choreographing for certain things, or he was traveling, but it wasn't like, oh, he's young and he looks cute or something, so, like, we're gonna, like, put him on so he look great. It was like, no, this fool, like, he deserves this. Like, he's gonna, like, inspire you in that situation. And I feel like that went for so many others, like, from Adam to Luciano to you. Like, there's so many people that have come across our company. Like, there's so many people that have just even blessed our room or blessed our, like, our energy, where it's like we got to see them grow or even go somewhere crazier after that. And even in a sense where it's like, and that was another huge thing that, like, at a certain point I had to come to realize and, like, grasp onto, where it was like, I feel like most teams, it's like you have a 4-year, like, span of time with some of these students, because it's like, normally when you get them around that high school age, it's like, you have high school and then people are gone to college. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or they get jobs, kids, like, whatever it may be. But it was like, there's normally a little window. But a lot of us, like you said, it was like 10 plus years that we were still vibing. Or
rocking.
People, like, naturally would go to take their own course, like, in situations where it wasn't like, I need you to stay here and I need to hone you in and you can only be on this team. It was more like, no, if what you need is somewhere else or I can't give you that, then I'm going to press you to go, like, push and grow. But, I'm still here for you as your boy. Like, if you need to come talk to me or, like, you got questions, it's not like you left, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But, and there's been situations like that, too.
Yeah, like, there's been a lot. Like, there's been a handful of people who either joined other companies or whatnot. But then some of the homies, like, there's been times, like, I'm like, do I say their name? No.
We'll bleep it out. We'll bleep it out.
Yeah, we'll bleep it out. But some of the homies, like, there's been homies who, I won't say names, but I'll just say, like, there's been people on the squad, and this isn't bad at all. This is, like, a great thing. But, like, they left and went to another collegiate team. But they even asked me, they talked to me. They're like, I don't want you to feel like any type of way. Whoop, whoop. And I was like, no, I respect that to the max, that you just wouldn't. They're like, no, I don't want you to feel like that. But, like, I feel like I just need more of this energy because I've never competed and we're just exhibition. And I was like, that makes 1,000%. And then 2, they were like, plus I feel like I need someone to be, like, strict and on me, like, like, you know, yell at me or whatever. And I was like, I'm not that. So I completely would push you to someone. And even the people they were asking about, I was like, I would recommend these people, because if you want that, if you want someone to be on you and help push you like that and give you that hard, tough love, this is a great person. And I would push you in their direction because I've trained under them or I've learned from them, and, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But in that sense, it was like, even through that process of while they were training there, it was like we were still in talks and we were still cool, and, like, we would still talk about just projects and stuff.
100%.
And then we would have a random show, like a WOD pop up, and they would show back up and you could contribute. So it was like, oh, this is dope that people can grow and still sort of have other things, and then come back and even be at a different place to like contribute with, like, choreo and stuff that you guys would come back with. Where I'm like, and there was so many times, like, even certain WOD shows where you got, like, even you specifically would come back, where I was like,
yeah, that was
bro,
dope.
like, y'all all coming back, like, made this vibe, like, so much more, like.
Yeah, oh, that was all, like, what was I think it was Carnival, or the WOD we did in in House of Blues or something with the
Yeah.
all guys
Yeah,
cast.
yeah.
I watched that recently. That set is fire.
That's fire, bro.
That shit's so fire. That shit's so
Yo,
fire.
there's some classics. Like me and my shorty always watch sets where we're just like, we want to watch old footage or like old performances or whatever, just to like watch it.
Just to, yeah.
And some of them, I'm like, yo, this still slaps.
Yo,
slaps.
for real.
Like, it's like certain songs where you're like, they're like classics where you play old Snoop song, you're like, bro, even to
Yeah.
this day, as soon as the beat drops, you're
Yeah,
like, boom.
crazy.
For certain of these performances, they still give that intensity or that feel, or even you just feel inspired off of watching it, where I'm like hyped, like,
Yeah.
bro, I want to go freestyle.
Yeah,
Let's get
for
it.
real.
Yeah.
I think what helps too is like what you said. You're self-aware that you're not that teacher or mentor to be like hard on you. We know like all those that are.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with you being self-aware makes it so much easier for your dancers or for the dancers to like communicate with you.
Yeah.
But plus show it on stage. As in like, you know what I mean? Like you gave us the opportunity. Yeah, we still wanted to be clean, but like I think with rewatching it and stuff, like watching everybody go off at certain different like levels and like what they bring is like crazy. I think that's what sparked Soul Fresh in the industry and community to like people wanting to be on it. And we taught him a little bit about the difference with the industry and community.
Yeah.
But with Soul Fresh, I think was a big like hub in the middle because you would bring on people with the industry to teach and choreograph, and we would always rehearse at ML, Movement Lifestyle.
Yeah.
I love you, Movement Lifestyle. Shout out.
That's a Movement Lifestyle for sure.
I love you, Sean Everesto. But then you would also bring in cats from the community, like you said, from other teams like GRV, Company, Team Millennia, like all those cats. So like it was a good mix, and I think that's what brought Soul Fresh. Like that's what made the name Soul Fresh in like the dance world, which is.
It seems like you've created such a great space for growth for all these people. Like you said, like he's told me people that he knows through Soul Fresh, and him, Dylan, and all these other people are doing big things. Yeah. And I think stems from like your teachings, like your ideals.
That's what I'm saying. This man is different, bro. If you don't know him and haven't learned from him, this man is different.
Appreciate you, bro. For real.
But with that reminiscing on the past, like what's you got plans for the future? What's next for you? I mean, for you personally, we'll talk about you personally, but and then Soul Fresh later. But you personally, like what's going on, bro? How's
well, we've been in this fun thing that everyone loves to call a pandemic, or passing through it, as we may say. Yeah,
you know, we love it.
So it's been. I feel like I've been getting comfortable just freestyling again, like in the sense of even life wise, like it's hard to get too comfortable with anything because then we get restrictions thrown on us, or it's like, you can't throw an event. It's like, or you know what I mean? So because of that, I've just been flexible with this stuff. But it low key, just like the way the universe happened, like right before the pandemic slapped, I was already mentally preparing to like slow down travel wise and stabilize back at home somewhere, or like home base it. You know what I mean? And so then I went back to teaching at a high school. I teach at a school. It's a private school called Oakwood. It's in North Hollywood, but it's dope. Like I have like a class where I get to teach kids hip hop and breaking and stuff. So it's like for PE, you can just go take
that's sick
class pretty much. So I was like, this is dope. But like it was another way for me to start pouring back into that age range and like just the youth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that, and then it kicked me into working at the elementary school with all the younger kids, so that they can sort of kick them into before they get to high school. Now they have like a kickstart into just hip hop in general.
That's sick.
So I went back to that. On top of that, I went to the 805 show with Byron Bukal. Shout out to the 805 show fam.
805.
Soul Fresh fam, Alias fam. Byron Bukal. One of the homies I went to high school with. We danced on Channel Islands together. Route-wise, it was like I went to LA and tried to pursue more industry-bound things. And then he was still in Oxnard in the 805, but he was starting sort of what I did for Soul Fresh, but in the 805.
Yeah.
So it was like he had a fam going on out there. And that was even a spark for me where it was like right after I was finishing the time up with Offspring was the time that I was watching some of the stuff Byron was doing. And I was like, yo, this is literally like, even right before I started, like got with Offspring and started making that happen, it was like, that was what I was looking at. And I was like, dang, Byron's making this happen out there. And I'm working with a lot of kids out here. Like, I should definitely even like figure something out, or even if it's a project to project, but like it kicked that off too. But we started something called the 805 show. Back in high school, we had a show called Kasiahan, and it was like one show a year they would put together, and it was like our alumni that would bring different acts. It was almost like a talent show. It was like music artists, like it was everything, like just a show full of just dope stuff, but they would bring talent into the 805. And it was like some YouTube famous people at the time. So it was like locally, you don't have to travel out to go to a concert and stuff like that. And a lot of times our families, there's so much dance community out there, and it's so rich and healthy. Yeah. But the families don't get to go see their kids perform every weekend and stuff like that. So we were like, Kasiahan was our show that like our families can come to at home, see you get off. End of the year, you're already at like your peak, you know what I mean? Like you're ready to, and then there's so many dope celebs there and different people, so it was fun. And then at a while it sort of stopped and took a little hiatus. And so Byron's kids were still practicing and doing stuff out there, and they were like, yo, bro, like we sort of like are missing like a show yearly here or like something here, you know? Yeah. And so me and him were like, yo, maybe we can put our resources together and like use both of our outlets to create a show here to give back to the community and keep that energy going. So we started doing that. We did our 5th one this past November.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Bro. Thank you for coming through. You and Lou, man.
You know, we filmed that. You know,
we got so much great feedback from like the way that the show looked and the way it was filmed and everything. So like, shout out to you guys for being like A1 on that. Every year have held us down and just rocked with us and supported us. Like, dude,
every time I go, I don't know. I always forget how much talent is out there. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. There's so much talent that comes out of just that city. I don't know if it's the strawberries out there, if it's the water, like
the water you drinking.
The Oxnard the 805 has something out there, and it just pours into talent, dance, like everything.
Yeah,
but
for real.
We've been working on that. We also there's a group that me and Byron started working with called Trendy Eats that runs like a food festival.
Sick.
They pretty much do like a night market like the
66,
but they do the 805 one.
Oh, sick.
So we collaborate with them and help them run a stage at their market basically.
And perform.
But we're just sort of creating different events now. And the level up for me was like like if I get everyone to a certain place where like, or if I help bring resources to get everyone to a place where we're able to work and stuff, then it was like, okay, now everyone's working. So where do we go from here? Like, you know what I mean? Then it was like, okay, I need to be in a position where I can either offer more opportunities or find a way to help people create more opportunities. So that's where I was like, if I start creating and producing more events now, then now we're able to hire people to come work the events. We're able to like even give just another opportunity for people to share, like local businesses to come out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then too, it gives sometimes it's just you need something to look forward to.
Yeah.
So some kids just need a show to be like, yo, bro, like, I'm going to train for this. Like, I remember being like, shows were coming up and I've been like, yo, I'm just hyped to get out there and like rep and whatever. But like that got my energy going to get through whatever it was, whether it be like keep my grades up, whether it was like just be on top of myself, like my regimen, my health, like I was on it because I was so motivated by something like that. But that's where it is now. We're trying to produce some more events. We have more 805 shows coming up, producing battles coming up soon. We haven't done battles, but that's what's in the line. So
battles would be fun.
Oh, yeah.
I miss battling. That's one thing I really miss is battling.
Yeah, bro. You've been battling since so long now.
Yeah, I know. I miss the battle scene. I think the battle scene needs to like come back. I mean, it's there. It's there.
But it's a little different.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah. So we're working on it. Okay, we're working on bringing another like just breath to the scene. It's already like you said, there's still some battles popping off, but like we want to bring another vibe to it and collaborate. And also it might even just be bringing a different group of people together that might make a different energy for everybody. But regardless, it's just another opportunity for for people to look forward to something.
That's fine. Yeah, look forward to that. That's going to go crazy, I think.
About to go crazy.
But yeah, like you said, you freestyling. I see you freestyling with news a lot.
Oh yeah.
Like on a dance. That was like a lot of like you have business coming up, but like dance wise, like are you trying to battle more? Are you trying to? Like what you? I mean.
Well, dance wise, like you said, I started training with news. Shout out to Bad News.
I love Bad News.
Greg Aldana.
You crazy.
Yeah, that's the Crump mentor right there. So I got back into the Crump thing, like into the fam, into the culture. He's from a like first Latin crumper that was out here, and it just luckily ended up being one of the homies and one of the fam. Like he joined Soul Fresh at a certain point when he was like on a break with Crump. Yeah. But then it ended up coming full circle. Like he was vibing with us, doing shows with us, working with us, traveling with us, doing his own thing, and he's like a dancing barber, like barbers for a lot of celebrities and stuff at the same time.
He barbers Belly, bro, who we work for.
Really? Yo, how crazy is this, yo?
Yo, that's crazy.
This was a moment for me, like this moment personally for me, where I was in my room, like, yo, like live bulb moment, like crazy moment.
We were talking about it last night, how it's just like full circle, like completely.
I was like, one of the homies on the squad cuts hair for an artist. And then the next thing you know, like you and Lou and like the fam are like filming and his film crew basically. Yeah. And I was like, at one point, I remember there was a day where like News was like, yo, he has an event tomorrow night. I got to go cut his hair. So he cuts his hair, and then the next day, you guys are at the event filming, and I see the footage. I was like, yo,
it's crazy.
This is it. Yeah.
This is what it's meant
moments
to be.
like this,
yeah,
like
real.
in the industry, like not off of any like knowing each other, but like you guys ended up connecting on that sense, like where I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And you guys have known each other separately for years, and then how, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
Proud teacher moment.
Bro, no, you don't even know. I was in my room, like, punching air. Yeah. This is it. Hype for the homies, bro.
Yeah,
like,
that's
for real.
Crazy. I don't even think, we haven't even told Belly, really, but.
That's a trip,
that's
bro.
Such a trip.
That's
such a trip. Damn.
Wow.
So,
It seems like you're kind of doing everything that you want to do, but is any of this like, is it leading to something? Is there something more that you're trying to accomplish?
Yeah, well, the whole thing was changing the industry, but I didn't know how. I just knew that was something I wanted to do. I wanted to create a new lane to it. So I think the push and the see for all, or the direction it's still in right now, is like, it's changing it by creating more opportunities and creating a space, a safe space. And that's sort of what we were, because when we started with Soul Fresh originally, it was invite only, and we were out in Torrance, like just like doing our thing, you know what I mean? And it was more community related and just like crew based, and it was like more about like us growing together. And then when we moved to the industry, was because everyone leveled up and was getting a little bit older, and we were all like ready, like we could have like been working. And some of you guys were already booking jobs, like Sparks Kids and stuff like that, from jump, like at 10. So I'm like, some of my kids are already working, like, you know what I mean? So I'm like, for me just to hold you in this bucket out here, like this would be so much. But like, that's where I was like, we took a step and we were like, now we're going to keep this community vibe, but we're going to be in the industry, in the heart of the industry. We're going to go to North Hollywood, start working out of a studio out of there, just so that we can get the vibe of what these classes feel like, what people passing through feel like, what, you know what I mean? So like, it just put us in the heart of it. And that sort of took a step to a lot of us professionally working. And then now it's like, where can we take that next step and create events for our professionals to even have our own hub? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then from there, like even before that, we were working with a team. We started creating a team out in Holland at the time, but this was right before the pandemic hit and everything too.
Soulfresh Holland.
But like Soulfresh Holland kicked off, where we were like expanding and having actually some like sort of franchise companies, where it was like eventually you can travel, and even just our own crewmates could travel from hub to hub and still just work through our own family. And like even when we were there, like we went, I think maybe 4 or 5 times. We brought a squad from Soulfresh out to Europe. Yeah. Like at least 5 people each time, where it was like, oh, hey, Roscoe.
Hey, we got Roscoe in the building. You know,
Roscoe Peabody in the building.
Special guest. He's trying to talk.
You can.
No, you're chilling. Oh.
He's like, I got a potty.
I gotta go bathroom now.
But yeah, there's I was like, wait, sorry.
With Holland,
yes.
Yeah.
So basically, we kicked that off, and it was the kind of thing where people could sort of like, and even the homies are there in the fam. It was one of those things where I had gone there so many times for WAD, where I'd start meeting, like there were certain people who would come to my class every time I was in like Europe. Yeah. And even if I was like, I'm in Germany, some people would still show up to the Germany class. And I'm like, aren't you from Eindhoven? Like, aren't you from like... And they were like, yeah, but I came to the event, I competed, and I'm taking class. Like, bro, you're not here often. Like, wow. And I was like, damn, this is dope. Like, this is crazy. And then it seemed like there was like a solid 10 to 12 people where I was like, I always see you guys, like, no matter what, every time I'm here. So it sort of created a sort of Soul Fresh thing. So I started just doing some random projects, and we started getting that started. Yeah. And then there was a thing where we were going to start cross with our events, where it was like we had an event out there, and that was sort of like our 805 show out there. Yeah. And we have ours out here, and then they would come out here for that time and then perform and get experience, do all the workshops, have the whole experience here, and then we would switch. We would go out to Europe, do the whole experience, perform at WAD, like travel, teach. We'd see like 4 or 5 countries each time. Like, but for some of us never traveling, hadn't performed or booked any real job, like this was like our first chunk of like, and then top of that, like we're in another country with your best friends, like vibing and dancing, and then like getting paid to be out there to do it. So
living
the
like, dream,
bro. It was crazy. But like that was where it was. That's where it's still going and / where it is. But we're also just taking the time to be like, we do want to be safe. We are taking time to let everything iron out, and then there's just so much going on. But Yeah, it's kicking back up to the point where we're creating it where there is hubs for people to go to, and you have a safe space if you, you know what I mean.
So
Art from LA.
Is that kind of like the next step for Soul Fresh?
Yeah,
because I know you're on hiatus right now, and recently it's kind of been project by project now.
Project to project at the moment.
Because we used to have rehearsals every week.
Yeah, literally we had like 2 times. Sometimes we would have 3 times a week.
Yeah,
and that was the other thing for us. It was an exhibition team, so we weren't there till like 3 in the morning all the time.
No.
Whereas if we had been on all of us have been on teams where we were like rehearsing in parking lots, like oh my out God. In the cold to 3, 4 in the morning, garages, you know what I mean? Or you're just doing whatever hours, like having hell weeks where you're seeing the sunrise as you practice. Like,
oh, I had those. Bro, we all had those.
But then it got to a point where we told ourselves, like, as a professional jump for ourselves, like, we're gonna stick to the time slot. We're gonna work at a studio at this times and like just try to press it. Yeah. But it's like, fortunately and weirdly, everyone's quality was so high that we didn't need it.
Yeah. But I think we didn't need it like towards the end because it got better. But like I think like you see all these like dance programs now and all these choir. I still think, and I always say like Soul Fresh was the first dance, like because we weren't competing, we weren't like trying to do a set and like clean ourselves. Like we were training like different styles. Yeah. You would always, and like I think the main thing that people always wanted to come on Soul Fresh and always told me is they want to work on their freestyle. Yeah. And every rehearsal, he would make us freestyle. At the end of rehearsal, we had a line at the back. He picked any song and freestyle. And a lot of people like didn't do that like back in the day. Yeah. And like now I see all these dance programs. Like I'm not trying to like bag on them, but like it's good. But I think Soul Fresh for sure was the first like like it wasn't even a program like it was a crew, but like you made it as like a regimen of a program. Like that's how everyone grew. Yeah, we had workouts sometimes in the beginning. We were back at Bookies Zone. We were working, and that was another thing. We had people on the team who were pushing to become physical trainers. Yeah. So then they were like, "Yo, I've been putting programs together. Can I use it on the fam?" We're like, "Yeah." For the first 5 minutes, first 6 minutes, like go crazy on everybody, abs all day. Like we're getting ready anyways. We would run laps in the big ballroom. Oh, but it was good. Like it was giving us our fitness. And then even on top of that, like, I don't know, it's crazy. I feel like sometimes it was just a safe space for people. Like you go work so hard and you're like for some people in the squad, there were some people who would tell me, they're like, yeah, I go home. I have issues like with my family or whatever it may be. And it's not as comfortable to be at home. Yeah. And then they're like, when I go to work, I sometimes have issues with coworkers and stuff like that. So it's like, I'm stressing throughout the day. Yeah. And then there's 2 times out of the week where I come here and it's like I leave all that shit at the door. And I'm like, I just have fun with everybody. We're just like, you know what I mean? They're like, I can just let go for a couple hours and like really like just get my good workout, my pump in, and it just sets me up in a good space, and then I head back out to just go attack what I got to get through. Yeah. But I'm like, wow, like this place was that for some people. Like it was that safe space or that revamp or re-up moment. So I was like, wow, like and moments like that made me realize that it was more than just like the goals and some of the other stuff. It was this actually matters in a completely different way. I was gonna say we're talking like about like Soul Fresh, like the come up and like how like was it overwhelming for you like finding out about this? Like, did you think this outcome would come as Soul Fresh? Like, did you have any idea? Heck no. I feel like, especially now. Oh my bad. Oh yeah, it was good. Okay. I feel like especially now that I'm like a little bit older, I feel like I can see now that I'm like, bro, as much as you feel like you don't really know what's going to happen, like, bro, there's so many things that happen even with Soul Fresh that I never would have guessed, even Soul Fresh itself. Yeah. It wasn't the specific goal I had in mind. I just knew I was obsessed with dance at the time. Yeah. And I loved it. And then when I started realizing there was holes or things that like, that I was struggling with that I'm like, not everyone does, or a lot of people do go through. That's when I was like, yeah, I sort of want to get back. But I'm like, even from the sense of went to Ireland just to teach the class, and then they were talking about my shirt. Like I had no idea they would have been down for my shirt. That kind of sparked it all. That sparked it. That like I didn't know that was even at that. And maybe I was just so new to the game that I didn't realize that's what so many people were doing. Yeah. But regardless, like no one put me on to that. It was like the students who were like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then even from there, it was like stuff with seeing how far you guys have gone. Like I would have never guessed. Like you guys. Greg cutting Belly's hair, you guys like filming for him, like some of the stuff that you guys have done film wise already, I would have never and not in a sense of like, oh, I don't see or think you're possible or don't believe, but it was more of like with even just like example, like with Luciano alone, when he got into film,
he just said like, yo, I like these YouTube videos are cool. Like I really want to sort of get into something like that. That'd be cool. Like, and then he was like, can I practice on you or whatever? And I was like, sure, bro. Like, yeah. And then so he would even ask me at times. He was like, yo, or there'd be times where I would see something in a video and I'd be like, yo, bro, do you know how to do this? And it was like masking. At the time.
Oh my God.
I was like masking.
Jeez.
I didn't know anything about like editing or anything. So I was like, bro, do you know how to do this? Or do you know what this is? He's like, no, but I'll find out. Wow. I was like, bro. And now, excuse me? Yeah. So next thing you know, this fool sends me a video like a day or two later, and it's him with like 3 versions of himself in the living room, chilling, drinking water, like walking around. And I was like, yo, bro, this is what I was looking for. Like, this is sick. Yeah, bro. And this is like in that same time, this kid's like probably like he's like 14, 13.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's
a kid. Like, you know what I mean? So at that time, I'm not seeing him like this is what he wants to do. Like he just asked. You know what I mean? I would have never guessed.
And now seeing his edits now. That man.
And it's like you look at his resume now, you look at his edits, you look at his quality, and then even just like his journey is like a story of its own of how he sort of took steps to like certain things he went through to get there.
It's ridiculous.
But at the same time, it's just like I would have never guessed at the time because at the time he was so obsessed with dance where it was like, oh, dance-wise, I know you're going to probably be able to do X, Y, Z, boom, boom, boom. And then we saw other like passions come up. I was like, dang, that's crazy. And same thing, like for you, there's so many people, Katie, like Harley, like there's so many moments where I was like, wow, like that fell into place very nicely. But then as it falls into place, like I completely understand why. Like, you know what I mean? Like I look at your work ethic or I see your quality and stuff.
You see why it happened.
Of course you're gonna do this. You're gonna book this, but it's crazy. You know what I mean? And even for you, bro, like when you went to like OSHA and learned so much more stuff too, and like started getting more into it, and I was like, yeah. And then there was a time after you graduated, I was like, Dylan's out of school. He's probably gonna book a tour and be gone. And then I started seeing like. You were like, I started seeing you actually do more stuff with film, and then you're hitting a blue, and I was like, yo, like, are you like getting in? And he's like, no, bro, I'm in this. Like, I got access to a lot of stuff. We working, bro. We're making everything happen. I was like, oh, this is real. Like, yo, it's real. On that level.
That was a crazy moment for me. I thought the same thing too. Like, I for sure wanted to go on tour and be a backup dancer and all that. And then something shifted for sure while I was at OSHA. Obviously, being at OSHA. He went to OSHA as well.
What?
Yeah, I was there for acting.
Shut up. Shout out to OSHA. What? There's so many dope people who came out of OSHA.
He was in my senior project.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, he's a crazy actor.
That's tight. Okay. Yeah. Good to know. I'm like, I'm all connecting people.
Writing the script already?
I know.
Okay. But with that, but being at OSHA, like, and being there like 5 o'clock, like, it was so hard for me to go to LA and like take class and all that. So that for sure like slowed me down. It could be like in a bad way. You can look at it a good way, bad way. But with that, like focus on film and then being with Luce and like seeing his grind and his motivation like really helped me. So I was like, yeah, that was a crazy stepping stone for sure. That was a crazy like life moment for sure. Cause I wanted to do like I was on that wavelength of like I'm gonna go on tour. I'm gonna do this. But, you know, things change. Everything happens for a reason, like we always talk about.
Yeah. And I think at a time, too, like, for me, I was definitely like, I want to book a crazy tour, da-da-da-da. And then I booked a few jobs, and I think I understood. And that's weirdly where I think I learned a lot more about the business side of things.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, okay. And it wasn't in a bad way, but it was just more like, I feel like I can give more in a different area. And it was... Even me knowing specifically, and it was like some of these jobs were just sort of being like placed or like just flowing because I was in the right place.
Yeah.
But it was like my energy where I was and with some of these projects and things and people I was working with, I was just like, it's not really
your path. You feel
it's like it's not even that it's like I could see myself doing stuff, but I would have been in a different position now that I know what works and how it works. But from the outside perspective and just seeing what I see on TV or something, I'm like, yeah, like heck yeah, like I want to go do that.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, oh wow, like I wouldn't mind helping out with choreography or even like I talked to like Nick Demora one time and he was just telling me about stuff that he was learning through the whole process as well with Justin Bieber, and I was like, wow, like. Mind open to just even different avenues and different things that certain people were thinking about and even possibilities. I'm like, I didn't know that.
Because now he's creative director for Justin now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Nick Demora
started out as choreographer.
Nick Demora, he's been choreographing for Justin since the beginning,
bro.
And then now he's the creative director, and like, that's
from set designs to like craziness. Like I was involved.
Yeah, I think I was watching the new documentary, and he was like, even like doing on the computer, like the set design of his like new show and the new tour, like from being a choreographer, like I think that's dope to see like a choreographer go through those steps.
Bro, it's nuts. And I think it just opened up more opportunity where I was like, oh wow, I didn't really.
That's when it opened for you, like you're like.
And it wasn't in a bad way. It was just like, oh wow, like that's cool too, and I'm still involved in a way. You know what I mean? And even like for me now, being like, oh, I can produce shows and still dance or
be part of it.
You know what I mean? Be a part of it in some way, or you know what I mean. And at the same time, it's like I'm getting closer to the age where I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna be on stage and like doing solos every time or battling all the time as much as I used to.
Yeah.
But I still want to like that being a part of this and even being able to help make sure it's like in a good space.
Yeah.
Feeds me personally so much. It's almost it feeds my soul. Like you know what I mean?
Keeps your soul fresh.
It's like exactly keeps my soul fresh. It's like I don't know what's the phrase where they say like if it costs you your happiness, it's not worth it or whatever.
Yeah. Something like that.
This is feeding my happiness like crazy when I do certain projects like this, and then it's like weirdly like you do certain other things that seem like they would be so like
glorious,
going to be glorious and everything, but it doesn't feed you the same way.
100%. I start feeling that at the end of last year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was even talking about it last night with Lucy and all the guys. Like I haven't done something. I'm gonna be repeating myself like almost every episode, but I haven't done something like as a passion project in a while. Obviously, I'm grateful for the jobs I've done with Luce and all the shit I've done with dance and like, but I haven't like created something that feel like my soul, like something like that. And I felt like I was missing. So like creating this podcast, bringing people I haven't seen, like wanted to work with, like even behind the camera, like It, like now it's like whoa, holy shit, this is. It's like now it's kind of coming back to like the feeling, but like even when I choreographed was for Soul Fresh, that fed my soul. Like it's dope to do something to create for yourself, and it's been a minute since I felt like that, but I completely understand like that.
And it's weird because I think once you finally find something and you love it and you're like doing it religiously and you're obsessed with it, and then you come to a point for whatever reason you need to find something else to be obsessed like that with, it can take some time for some people, 100%. Or it can just be just awkward and uncomfortable to get used to doing something that's not routine. You know what I mean? Or creating a new routine. And a lot of people, like, once we get comfortable, like, we're comfortable. Like, why? You feel me?
100%.
Until it's like, no, bro, you need to get up.
I was in that predicament for 3 years. That's what
it be like that, though. And that's, like, it's normal. It's, like, we all go through it at different intensities and different reasons and different ways. But I'm, like, the pandemic, that's something huge I'm taking from the pandemic, and I learned from it and grew through, which was just like not feeling like I can't just look for the formula. Like,
you can't just sit and wait.
I have to be willing to adjust it and constantly revamp it or update it as I go, versus thinking that once I find the update, I can get, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not the same. It's just like a workout. Your regimen is going to do well for you. And then once your body gets accustomed to it, you have to change it up somehow. Yeah. You know what I mean? So same thing with what we're doing for our like to stimulate ourselves or get us like excited and like whatever, happy about something. It's like I realized I needed more options on the table than just like it being my dancing.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%. You needed to find something else. That's
So I have a question. On the opposite side of the spectrum, like it feeding your soul, like this dancing, and you're super passionate. Have you had dancers come up to you who are like really burnt out and they're thinking of like, I don't want to do dance anymore. Like this just isn't it for me anymore.
Yeah.
What's that like?
I think it's when you're depending on dance too much.
Yeah.
It literally is. It's like, I feel like the number one reason I feel a lot of people get burnt out. Like I would always tell people when they come to LA, I'm like, and that was another thing for Soul Fresh being a hub. It was like a lot of dancers who just moved to LA who are trying to pursue the industry. Mm-hmm. They were coming to Soul Fresh because it was a place that would give them direction of where to go because they're just new here. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you come to LA and like you take a class and it's not like people are like, yo, bro, do this, or like, you know what I mean? It's not even supportive. It ain't like that.
It gotten worse too, in my opinion. LA's
and it's like I haven't taken class like just openly like that in a while, so I can't really like speak on that now. But
but I can speak. Hey,
if you say it got worse, then I believe you. Because it's like this. It feels like you went into audition sometimes when you're just going to take a class.
1,000%.
So if you're trying to go there to learn, but you feel some people are trying to outdance you because they're trying to book a job in that moment.
Or just being in a video. Yeah, just being in a video. Like, yo.
It changes the vibe of you just sort of being in the room. Like, there's been times where I'd be in a class and I'd be like, hey, let's go. And then people look at me with a straight face.
Yo.
And I'm like, yo, bro, I'm cheering for people. Like, is that okay? And they're like,
crazy.
keep me down, bro. I'm like, wow.
Hey,
I can't add energy? Like,
it's crazy.
I'm trying to support. So then I'm in the back of the room still like, hey, let's get it. Getting myself hyped to just try to stay in a good space. But I'm like, wow, it feels so weird that I'm like, it's like I can feel it radiate. It's not going. It's not catching, absorbing. So that's where I was just like, wow. But at Soul Fresh, it was different. Like, and that's how it is. Like now to this day, if you go take class or you teach in Oxnard, like the people on the sides are screaming so hard for you and they don't even know you.
Yeah.
But they're just hype and they're giving you energy because it makes them more hype, or they're just feeding. But like that pureness, like that was where I was like, no, we need that in the industry where people can go somewhere and not feel like you're already being judged when you're supposed to be in class where you can learn and make mistakes. Like it's class. Like this isn't the audition yet. You know what I mean? And even though we might film later, that's not the audition. Like, you know what I mean? This is still class video, but technically with where everything's going on social media, like it changed a little bit of that perspective. So it's like,
it's a dangerous.
Yeah. We've talked about that a lot. Like if you're in that environment where like it feels hostile or like you're being judged, you won't risk failing because you'll embarrass yourself in front of these people who are judging you already.
Exactly. And now you're playing it safe and then you wonder why you're stagnant.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're just playing it safe. You're not pushing yourself.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
1000%.
But that's where it's like, you need a safe space to feel like you can fall and it's okay. And people will support you to get you back up versus they're going to like leave you or like make you feel even worse in that situation. And I don't know. That's where it's like, that's where I'm like, I'm okay with not being the person who's going to like, and that's like, I will push people and push you to your limit, but I'm not going to do it in a way that's very aggressive. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, I know some people need that pressure and it's fine, but at the same time, it's like, I grew up needing more of this type of pressure of someone encouraging me versus someone telling me like, you know what I mean? Cause that's like, I've had enough of people trying to just like put me down or make me think that it's not as good. I was literally talking to my shorty about this. I was like, there were so many people in high school that like made me think that like I was not of quality or at the part, but it was like the same stuff I feel like other people were going through where they were like, people are uncomfortable about how invested you are into this or how obsessed you are with this or you being okay at this or good at this, like makes them feel uncomfortable and they don't know how to react. But it's like, so they'll joke about it or like, you know what I mean? Just do a little burn here and there. That's whack, bro, blah, blah, blah. But in your head, you're like, oh, so am I really whack? Yeah. And then later on, everyone's doing the same shit you were doing like 2 weeks ago. And then you're like, hold up, man. Like, y'all said that was boo-boo, bro. And then it's like, now everyone's over here like hitting woes and shit. You're like, bro.
Bro, I did that 2 weeks ago.
That's cold. Y'all played me. They're like, yeah, bro, nobody wears turtlenecks, dog. And so you're like, never wearing your turtleneck. Everyone's at prom with turtlenecks. You're like, yo. Like, yo, straight up.
I wore a turtleneck and
yeah, you did.
I wore a turtleneck and I was the only one and they all made fun of me and then everyone's wearing turtlenecks.
Look, now everybody's popping off with turtlenecks. Come on. I'm telling you right now, bro. But that's where it's like.
Turtlenecks are fire.
Some people, it's like, but hey, sometimes, I'm not going to lie to you though, sometimes we do need those haters to help fuel you and push you.
Oh yeah, those are my big motivators.
There's been some that help get you through these hard times where you're like, oh, word? That's what's up?
That's when you got to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm about to be eating up in here.
Okay.
Yeah, you get busy, but same time, I'm like, you do need a safe space. Like, those people are needed for certain reasons, but that shouldn't be in home. Like, that shouldn't be where you feel best. Like, you feel me?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's just how I grew up. I grew up with crew, like, where it was like, you're only as strong as your weakest link. Like, don't matter if I do great on stage. Like, if you look not as good, then they're looking at you sometimes, and they're scoring us off of you. It's like, so it goes both ways where it's like, if you can't pick up everyone around you or keep your squad at a solid place, then you know what I mean? It ain't gonna flow.
It ain't gonna flow. That's one thing I really miss because I haven't danced I mean, I do take classes and stuff, but being part of a team, and I recently started rehearsal with Danielle.
Oh yeah,
for an upcoming performance.
Shout out to Danielle.
Danielle, you're amazing.
She's killing the game.
She's crazy, but like being in that environment, like she's like a new generation that kind of has that mentality that you have, that keep going. Like being in that, I don't really know everyone in there. They're all like new faces to me, but like just doing like our set, just like the first piece and everyone's screaming. I was like, yo, this is this is it. Like it pushes you. Like it's ridiculous. Like the environment. Like I can't wait for you to like go watch a dance show, because I know you with Maddie. You've been to like dance competitions.
I've seen like a half a dozen ballet performances.
Word.
Yeah. But I haven't seen any hip hop.
OSHA
OSHA is the extent of hip hop I've seen like live.
OSHA's not comparable to any.
Oh, you're coming to the 805 show. Let's
go. Let's go.
This is gonna be good.
Yeah, but I'm taking with the Danielle.
When you guys are performing next?
It's for the Maker Empire show.
Okay, bet. Shout out to Bo and the Maker Empire.
Yeah, shout out to Bo. But
More
yeah,
Culture Shock fam too.
I know, it's crazy.
And even Danielle, Soul Fresh fam, OG.
Yeah, like, dance world is so small. But I'm excited for him to see just the vibe. Even in the audience, bro.
Yeah.
The audience is like...
Especially with them performing. Like, it's about to be crazy.
When is it? April
10th.
April 10th, come out. See
April
Dylan.
10th, watch your boy and Danielle go crazy.
Support,
and the whole VMO squad is going to go crazy. But that's one thing I really miss about
Bro.
I miss that. But I always like right now, like who have you been watching that's been inspiring as in like to watch and like help you grow? Ooh. Like are you the type of person like to see like outside people like from like different countries or like it could be like even outside of dance or like is it like your own squad like
people have been putting me on or giving me some inspiration lately. It's honestly been a lot of the people still killing the game right now in the community. Like a lot of like one for sure is a lot of the OGs, the Soul Fresh OGs. Like to see what you guys are doing definitely keeps sparking me and keeps me hyped. Like it inspires me. It genuinely does. Like Danielle, I've talked to her a few times like at events and stuff.
She went crazy at 805 show.
Bro.
We were talking about it on her podcast.
Bro.
She was ridiculous.
They went off, bro. And it's like, and that was them, like, I think she came back and put that together for that show, but it was like, shout out to her for even being down to come through and do that for us and put that show together because the community, went crazy and loved it. I loved it. It was dope, bro.
Fucking nuts, bro.
Bro, energy's insane. But, like, I think a few other people, like, I've been listening to a lot of just random motivational speakers.
It's dope.
Personally, like, literally within the past couple of weeks, I've been watching a lot of old, like, reminiscing on old things. Mm-hmm. Like, there's been old footage. Like, I was watching old videos from rehearsals, too. And there's sometimes I'm watching rehearsal videos, and I'm like, no, go back. And I see someone, I'm like, yo, what was he eating this day? Like, what is going on? And it's just like someone randomly, like, and it's like a video that I've seen multiple times and stuff. Yeah. But at the same time, like, it's just been a while, or even just now that I'm like, when I'm watching it, like, sometimes I'm seeing stuff, and I'm just like, no, this person is there. Like, they're tapped into, like, and that's, like, it goes to another place, like, where, I don't know, when I'm watching people who are into into whatever they're doing, like, almost the tunnel vision of what they're doing, it's almost like when an actor's very believable. You know what I mean? Same thing for when a dancer is believable, that inspires me like crazy. And it could be the most subtle thing, or it could be real crazy, but that's, like, a huge Danielle thing. Like, you know what I mean? She's believable. Like, you're believable, bro. Like, there's times where that's where it's like, it didn't matter if you were young at times, you're believable, which makes it more entertaining. There's a lot of, who else am I watching currently right now? News, Greg. I've been watching a lot of random Crump battles too. So, but those ones, like, those are also just because I've been training in it lately and putting a lot of work into just like re-understanding everything about Crump, because before I was crumping a lot, and it was all off of little things I was taught and here and there. But I feel like I had been picking up little tidbits, but it wasn't like I had a real grasp and understanding. It was almost like I was using vocabulary, but I wasn't understanding like where it came from and why I should use it. Yeah. You know what I mean? But now that I have a different perspective of certain movement and why it's being used, it's almost being like I learned a new language, genuinely. And now my movement and just speaking and comfortability moving that way feels so much better in a sense of like, and even me knowing what to do and why to do it, it's like, it changed my whole perspective. And even now, like, I can zone in and tap into that level and feel like it's therapeutic, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have a quick side question.
Yeah.
What is Crump battling?
Oh, okay. Crump is the style.
I know like mentioned it a couple times already, but
No, I'm glad you asked. So, like, how, like, when you go to some battles, there's normally, like, all style, meaning, like, it can be any style that you want to do, and you're just battling 2 rounds or whatever it is. Then, like, you sometimes will have just breaking. Like, you only can do breaking for this battle. Okay. So then, then they have popping, and then now there's a style called Crump that's more, like...
aggressive.
It's a lot more aggressive. There's it's just a different foundation in that. And then like something that I've been talking to someone else, like one of my other students, like who's been asking me random things that I've been learning about it. But it's like, it's a tone, I feel like. Okay. I feel like, and that's what I've been looking at a lot of the dance styles as. It's like some dance styles fit well with certain songs or feel like a tone that you would say something in. It's like ballet might be a lot lighter. It's not very hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But krump is like that aggressive. It's a little bit more aggressive at times, or it's a little bit more like
internal and
you like, and you're like almost even building chi at times and using that stuff, and then you're creating like combos or concepts to like bring to life and make it realistic. But still with dancers, like the way I brought up was like a 60% acting, 40% dancing. So the movement's just 40%, but the acting makes you believe that it was intense or that it was like strong, or you know what I mean? But it's more of the intensity, the posture.
Yeah.
But all within that, it like taught me different posture that like I might have been comfortable using. And a lot of times it's like I look good doing krump because of my body size and my structure. And I just fit typecast into that style. But it's like if I learned how to use it more better, or if I could utilize it better, then I would feel so much more confident in it. But now I got to a place where I'm like, okay, this is it. Oh, so I could utilize it like this and use it for these reasons. So now I'm like, I can go to it a lot more frequently. But just being in that realm and learning so many other things, or how certain things were similar to other styles of dance, it sort of inspired and opened me more back up into just like dancing even more again.
Yeah.
Because I feel like some people took little breaks here and there, but like that kept me training on the sidebar. Like,
that's dope.
Interested. Yeah. I had to humble myself and become like a student completely again for myself, just to be.
That's
like,
crazy.
Let me just learn. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know nothing. Tell me, bro. Like, what does this mean? And there was a lot of vocabulary that we use in hip hop that they use the same word, but it doesn't mean the same thing. So a lot of times I was like, oh, your get off. And what I thought a get off was different from what they were saying a get off was. So when they say that, I'm doing something completely left. You know what I mean?
That's
by
crazy.
verbal command.
Yeah.
So I was confused and thrown off. But now that I understand a lot more of the vocab, I was like, oh, like,
that's what it is.
It took all the stress away from it. But in the moment, I was like, what's it get? Oh, it's just arm swings? Like, oh, okay, bet. But yeah, like, I don't know. It was something I took time to like, once again, really invest back into. But it's been inspiring me.
Yeah, because I've seen you krump when you taught krump to Mighty Shah.
Yeah. And it's like I taught it back then, but it was like I had such a small vocabulary.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then you just expanded that, like,
and it was basic. Like I feel like or not basic, but it was like
the fundamentals of like krump.
It was all foundation at the time. And even when I would tell people, I was like, I wouldn't mind teaching something that's more foundational or like influence that just has that type of energy or tone. Yeah. But I was like, I'll probably mix it a little bit. And then, or I would collab with Greg, or like, you know what I mean? Where me and him would come up with something together. Like, where it's like, and that was another cool thing too, because of me working with him. Like, he had the vocabulary and I had just a structure towards creating choreography. So when we would collab, it was like, oh, so now I'm using your vocabulary, but I'm creating a completely different like vision that I have, but through your words. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But the visual and everything that came together, I was like, it changed my movement. Like, it helped me feel more confident.
Yeah, 100%.
Bro.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You don't even know, like, krump.
I've heard, like, people say
I want to know.
But
okay, when he said krump, I want to know your interpretation.
What initially came in your mind?
Yeah, what was in your mind when he said krump?
I guess I kind of maybe related it to, like, breakdancing. A little bit.
Okay, so you knew it was like a style, like...
I knew it was, like, a way of dance, like a style of dance. Yeah, I just, I couldn't picture it.
It's a newer style. Yeah. So, it, like, compared to, like, some of the other ones, it's a fairly newer style. Like, when that movie Rise came out, that was around the time that I feel like this was getting introduced, like, socially in that sense. Like, people here in the hood, like, if you were in LA, like, you were probably understanding and seeing it around. Yeah. But, like, other than that, like, when that movie came out, I think it went more mainstream for people to understand or see it like that. Yeah. But even then, I don't know if as many people had as much access, because the way that krump is sort of ran is almost OG, like how, like almost like how a foundational style is ran, where it's like crew based, it's battle based. Whereas if you do more of an all style thing, you're more likely at a competition, like on stage with choreography or whatever, choreography competitions, choreographed. But like the more krump styles, popping, breaking, they were more foundational and there was more battle based. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, this sort of tap back into that. But for me, it's like, I talked to Lou at one point. This was a while, like a couple years, like right before the pandemic, a couple years before the pandemic or something. But I remember Lou hit me up and he was like in a space where, like you said, where you were like trying to figure out like that flow or that spark again or whatever.
Yeah. And
he said his brother was like, well, what were you doing when you were like first like super hype and inspired and all that kind of stuff? And he was like, I was working with Ricky a lot. And he was like, well, go work with Ricky. Yeah. And so he was like, he hit me up out of nowhere just to do like a passion project or something like that. But like even like in that like moment right now, I feel like that's what like for me, it was like, well, what was I doing when I first started dancing? Like I was breaking, I was battling, I was just training. Like So then I went back to sort of a style that sort of gave me that essence of like battling again or training again or crew, you know what I mean? And it sort of fed me that like spark again of like why I started or how I started at least, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I feel like that's been something that sort of helped. So
that's good.
Try that. Ask yourself at a time that you're in that moment, like, what was I doing when I was in a good space like this?
Yeah,
like,
that's
when I first started. Like,
yeah, that's a good way to go back to keeping yourself sane.
Yeah, bro, finding your balance again.
Yeah, seriously.
It get crazy.
Yeah, for real. Well, we have a question of the. We didn't do this for the last month. We're sorry for the guest from last month, but
question of the.
We got question of the month, and we talked about it. We haven't said our opinions, so we'll say our opinions as well. But question of the month is: Would you rather have 100,000 today? I give you 100,000 today, or $1 million in 2 years.
$1 million in 2 years.
I agree.
Easy.
Okay. All right.
I've been waiting 22 years for $1 million, so I can wait. I can wait another 2 years if it's.
Bags.
We just want to, cause like I feel when this question came up, when I saw it on like TikTok or something, like there's like a lot of answers I saw. Like some people flip flop. Like some would say like 100,000 to like start a business. And
I was gonna say
to start a business, a startup, and then make $1 million within a year or something. You know,
it just depends on like where you are right now.
I think in your life, I think it's a big question, like where you are in life, where you are maybe geographically, maybe you know.
In my head, I'm like, if you're a person who's like super into stocks and you're good, then you're like, bro, get that bread.
Yo, nine.
If you're like, exactly. If you're a nine. If you're a nine and you just know how to work well with money like that, you can flip, then it's like, bro, we don't need to wait 2 years, bro.
I'll
do that in 2 months. Like, seriously. But it just depends on where you are, how you are in that sense. Because some people are just in a space where that's what they do naturally. Like they
just get the bag,
bro.
But $1 million, give me $1 million in 2 years, please.
Facts.
Please, someone just bring the bag. My address is. We'll keep that on the side.
I mean, the garage session. You know
the address. That is crazy. Well, thanks for coming on, bro.
Yeah, man.
Oh, thank
really
you
appreciate
guys. I appreciate you guys seriously so much. And like once again, and that's actually something else that like I was supposed to do way before the pandemic, and then I took a break because just had a whole bunch of stuff happen in life. But I was supposed to get cracking with my podcast stuff too. So I was like, yeah, bro. I was supposed to do it right before the pandemic, and then I had a whole break where I was like, yeah, okay, we're going to take some time, handle stuff, grieve with some losses that we had, and it was like, okay, cool. Now that we're back and I like refound and shaped myself, I'm like, okay, cool, like we can get it popping. But yes, that's something to definitely look forward to. Me posting more socially. I'm like, the whole goal is now to give back. So whether it be verbally, if this is how people take it, or whether it be in a classroom, like it's just to give back, because at the same time, I'm like, we're like, you can't take it with you. At the end of the day, on 1,000 note, like I can't take it with me. None of us can. So at the end of the day, I'd rather pass it on to people who I feel like I'd rather not go through the same things that I went through, or who can benefit in any kind of way.
Seriously,
like, that inspires me still. So once again, thank you for this
whole
experience.
I'm nervous now. Why you got? Now I got to compete with Ricky Cole and Danielle. God, I feel like you're a perfect person to have a podcast, just like Danielle. Damn, we got 2 dummies and then we got 2 amazing people. Damn, that's fire. No, expect that soon, for real. That's exciting.
It's different. It's not gonna be just your normal podcast. It's a little different. I put a little twang to it, but
I'm excited. Then
it's game time. No, you guys, we need to flip. Like I said, we collabing, so we need to flip flop. Have y'all on at some point. If you guys are down.
Always here for you, fam. Well, if you're watching on YouTube, stay tuned, because this man is about to go off freestyle session. I'm gonna hop in a little bit, and then if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon,
go to YouTube.
Go to YouTube.
Run that YouTube.
But also, what's your tags if you want to, throw out the little tags?
Ricky Cole.
Oh, you heard it here. That's all you need to know.
Me.
Come find him. Thanks for coming on. This band is amazing. We are out. I'm Dylan.
I'm Mo. See you next time.
Later. Yay. Damn.
Let's go. That was a wrap.